And I'm joined by Stevie of Twister. How you doing, pal?
I'm absolutely marvellous, mate. Thank you very much for having me.
Oh, no, pleasure's all mine, mate. Pleasure's all mine. So, in a couple of weeks, as we sit here now, you'll be on tour with some good friends of mine, Deadman's Whiskey Boys. That looks like it's a hell of a run of dates. Looks like it's going to be a great tour. And there's some other cracking acts on the bill as well, eh?
Yeah, absolutely. I know the lads from my days in Diva, so I've met them a couple of times,
Yeah.
and they're good bunch of guys. So we're looking forward to getting back on the road, and this will be our second UK run of the year. And we did a stint in Europe with the Choir Boys earlier in the year as well. So just nice to be on the road, mate. We get bored if we just sat here.
Fair play, man. Was the stint earlier was early in there? That was with Fallen State lads, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
Oh, nice. They look like a good run of shows as well. No, the boys.
Yeah, it was great. I think the best thing about being on the road with bands, that other bands that we have this year, is they're all genuinely nice people, and like that makes such a difference when you've got to share spaces together, and just being able to get on with people and have the old could you have a pint with that person. And
Yeah.
thankfully all of the people that we have been on tour with this year have been absolutely marvelous. So
That's all you want, mate. That's all you want. You don't want it getting awkward when you've got to try and get in.
definitely not.
No, we've all been there, mate. So yeah, it's always better if you're getting on socially as well. There's always adds to it. So it does look like you've had quite a summer of festivals and stuff, though, mate, as well, on top of like the normal shows.
Yeah, I mean we're quite lucky because we're genuinely quite busy, so there's always a lot of different shows in that festivals. We've just been filming some videos yesterday for what we've got coming out, and we worked out we've played in 11 countries this year.
Oh,
That's mental. I say this year, in the last 6 months we've played in 11 countries, which is just bonkers.
that's crazy, man. That's really, really well. Yeah, like you say, that's mental.
Yeah, it's great, and that's what we want to be. We want to be on the road. We want to be playing, and just being out there and that whole connection that you have with the crowd, and especially a new crowd, a crowd that hasn't seen us before. It's so nice to see people's faces light up when we do certain things that we've done for a long time. For instance, that I would not when you're playing them for a fresh face. It's just so nice to see the reaction.
That's wicked, man. So, how have you found shows like post-COVID? Have you found them tricky? Because it's a bit of a difficult time at the minute, but it sounds like you guys have been busy as ever.
To be honest, we were able to flip COVID on its head, really. So we actually did really well during the lockdowns.
Okay.
So I'm currently in our studio at the moment, which is just our place.
Yeah.
And just behind the screen here, we've got a full purpose built live room with a full band setup and multi-camera live streaming rig.
Oh, wicked.
So we were doing gigs every weekend online. And we kind of had a lot of fun with it because we were theming each week. So it would be like, okay, let's do a classic rock week, and we might just bang a load of classic rock covers out there. But like we were all kids in the early noughties, so it was like we were all into like the Kaiser Chiefs and the Fratellis and all of that kind of indie stuff. So we did a few nights of we're just going to bang a load of old indie covers out, and it was just great. It was great fun, and we ended up like building a totally different audience online to what we had prior to it. So when we came out of lockdown, we had a new audience to go and perform in front of.
Well, that's wicked, man. You feel like that built up because of people? Obviously, people couldn't go out anywhere. And I know me myself, I watched quite a lot of live stream gigs. Some bands I knew before, some bands I was just checking out because we couldn't go to a proper gig and go down the road and check them out at a venue or whatever. So it's just like anyone who mentioned, oh, so and so's doing that, I would just go check out. Do you feel like that kind of? I know, like the live scene obviously started, and it's hindered a lot of stuff, and there's a lot of venues that sadly closed in the process of COVID. But do you think in some ways it was easier to try and reach people in doing that?
I think what it gave people was everything at the touch of a button. And nowadays, in the likes of Spotify, and even down to things like if we send an EPK out,
yeah,
one of the whole premise of designing the EBK was like, it's got to be within 2 clicks.
Yeah.
People need what they want within 2.
Just knock the screen off.
Yeah, okay.
Sorry, I've got a load of things doing making a load of noises next to me.
That's
Yeah, so we managed to find everything within them 2 clicks. And I think that made such a difference when you think of.
We've actually got people that had never been to shows before, had never seen us, and then started to buy into what we're about as a band, and what we wanted to try and achieve. And the fact that we're at the end of it, we're just guys, we're just normal people, and we're quite approachable. And we did a lot of Zoom calls. After we would do the live stream, we would get people on the Zoom call afterwards, have a few drinks with them, and kind of made that social element like a real part of it.
Yeah, it's important.
And that's something that we couldn't even do at gigs, because most of the time, well, firstly, we never drink when we're playing.
Yeah.
2, I'm usually driving. So that was something that, okay, well, actually we can come off stage, we'll have a few beers and talk about things, and they would throw suggestions in like, oh, why don't you do a cover of this song? Oh yeah, why not? And like it ended up being a proper little community, but that we didn't even know existed.
Yeah, you were touching upon your influences there, which is something I'm always interested in when I hear a band, because I know you hear something, you can hear certain bands in them, in their sound and that. So I'm interested. Who was the bands? Who was it singing for yourself first? Was it guitar first? What came first to you, and who was the ones that made you want to do it?
So a bit weird, really. I did a lot of karaoke stuff and things like that when I was like a real young kid.
Yeah.
And then when I started playing guitar, basically I tried every way I possibly could to get into music. I tried playing the drums, and my drum teacher wouldn't let me on a kit. I wasn't interested. And then I picked up a trombone, a trumpet, and that was possibly the worst thing that I ever did for our family. And I eventually wormed my way onto guitar. And when I started playing guitar, that's all I really wanted to do. It wasn't a thought of like, oh, I want to accompany myself singing.
Yeah.
It was, I just want to play guitar. And then I'd been playing 6 months, and I started the first version of what would become Twister. And then we couldn't get a singer, nobody would do it. I was like, well, I sang on bits of karaoke when I was really small. So that's how I started doing it. And I couldn't sing for toffee. And just taught myself how to just sort of try and control my voice a little bit. And I think you're always learning though, and you're always trying to get it that little bit better in certain places. And
of course,
yeah, and it's been fun really. But when I think back on it, like, yeah, I probably couldn't sing. I couldn't sing at all. So,
it's funny, man.
I haven't done too bad.
No, so you're doing all right, Stevie, mate. You're doing all right.
I haven't done too bad, mate.
You're not done too bad at all, pal. The amount of people I chat to, especially like frontmen who sort of became singer by chance, whether it be, like say, no one else wanted to sing, so I'll do it until whatever happens. Or a lot of people I've spoken to, including like some people like Ricky Warwick, I remember chatting to him and him saying, oh, I did it because no one else wanted to do it, so I thought I'd do it until a singer came along, and no one ever did. And you just like, that's just so bizarre. I think someone even along the lines of Ricky Warwick would be like, the reluctant frontman. There's a lot of it going on, man.
Yeah, I think that's the way though, especially in the industry. And we've kind of had a little bit of a year of exactly that. It's kind of we had some big change rounds at the beginning of the year, and finally over the last 3 months we've got our lineup and everything settled, and we've brought one of the guys back who played with us a lot of years ago when I was in college.
Oh.
And that's great. That's like a proper homecoming for him. It's great for me because he was one of my best pals in the world. So having him back with the band's really cool. But there has been a lot of like make do and mend. Like we've always we're firm believers in the show must go on.
Yeah.
So we make it happen regardless of what that is. And yeah, there's been a lot of burying my head in the sand and just trying to make it happen. But honestly, it's been such is it great experience? Is that the word? It's been an experience.
Yeah.
But I think the fact that we've come out the other side of it, I think that the lads involved can take a lot of credit for the fact they've just gone, no, we believe in the process. We know what this is about. And we've had to put a few square pegs in round holes, but it's worked.
This is it. If it's working, man, it's working. And it obviously is when you're doing the shows that you're doing. And you sort of alluded to it there earlier, but I noticed yesterday that you've started to tease something new and exciting, which by the time this interview goes out will have been launched, so we can talk about it. But yeah, what is it you're launching, man? I've seen the new logos going up and little teaser posts and things. So yeah, let people know.
Yeah, so I mean, as you can probably tell by this camera view, our colours have always been red and black since I can remember. And because we've had a lot of change around, we wanted to do something totally fresh for this next stage of everything that we're going to be doing. So we've changed the colour scheme drastically. It's now white and these lovely two different colours of blue. And we spent the entire year, me and Jack, writing throughout.
Nice.
So we've got loads and loads of stuff there. And then we brought James and we brought Niall back, as I was saying. And these two boys are machines at writing as well. So we've knocked out tons of tracks, and we were sitting there thinking, oh yeah, we'll go into the studio next year and do an album. But really, we were thinking, oh well, that's probably a little bit far fetched because there's a lot to go. But actually, we're done. The album's ready.
Oh, wicked.
So we've written 20 odd songs, and we're going to whittle that down. And we've just announced our Kickstarter campaign for the album. But as well as that, it's been because we've just brought these lads in and we've got the wheels turning. We haven't done any big announcements for welcoming them to the band. So we did a full week of announcements. So it was like, okay, colour scheme changes, new members, Kickstarter campaign, new album, all in a week.
All full on, mate.
Yeah, something like that.
So, as the songwriting process? I'm guessing it has changed by bringing new people into it.
It's actually what it's done is it's gone back to the way that we like to write songs. So it's not really that we did it sort of slightly different on our last EP, just the process itself. For how we started the EP. So we started by doing that EP was like 2 sets of 2 songs. And the first set were very sort of computer driven. We were doing a lot of production sort of stuff to build the tracks within Pro Tools, and then singing some melodies over some sort, and then building them that way. And it was a different way of doing it. And although that was a fun way of doing it, it's not as organic as we like to do it. And we ended up doing the last 2 tracks of the EP the way that we always have, in the rehearsal room, throw some ideas down, and then literally a few days before we're going into the studio, we scrapped the song. We went, no, it's not going. We're going to start again now. And we wrote Favorite Underdog, which is my favorite song that we've ever done.
The EP.
Yeah, and that took us an hour and a half. That just fell out. And all of this set of songs here have been exactly like that. I think we've had a lot to say as well. So I think we've been writing from a point of view of going, yeah, we came out of lockdown and didn't have anything to say because we hadn't been anywhere. We hadn't done anything other than be in each other's company. And then all of a sudden, lots of things have happened. We've got lots to talk about. Here's 20 odd songs. Let's make an album out of all them. So that's what we're doing.
Have you got an end date in mind as to when the new tunes will start making their way out?
So the studio's booked. We start recording on the 22nd of January.
Oh, wicked.
So the Kickstarter campaign runs until the end of November. and then we've got some interesting stuff happening over Christmas. And then we wanted to kind of get all of the live stuff out there. We also were firm believers in songs have to have legs. We have to get them on the road and play them. And the likelihood is we're going to try and do some like secret-ish shows, like not advertised stuff, just to get out there and play all of the songs, because there's only going to be 10 songs made, of course. So we want to get out there and play them all. Maybe take a few fans with us and go, what do you think? What do you think of these? And see what the general consensus is.
Oh, nice one. So you always do that when you're writing, then you do like road test the songs to try and gauge reaction, because you're never going to get that feedback. You can sit in there, you know, I've been there myself, and you write and you think this is the coolest thing you ever written, then you play at the first gig and it sort of dies on its ass or whatever, or equally the opposite way around. You have a track that, you know, you feel like, you know, you're obviously happy with it, otherwise you wouldn't put it out, but it may be not like a favorite, and then it goes out to the audience, and as we all know, once you put music out there, it sort of becomes not quite your property anymore, and it's the people sort of run with it. So is that something that you sort of believe in then, sort of road testing the
100%. We've gigged songs before without lyrics.
All right.
And I've just gone out there, and well, not so much in the last couple of years, but definitely prior to the album, we would go out there and I would just go, it's all right. I know that I know the melodies, so I had a vague idea, obviously, what I was going to be doing, but it was more a case of, let's see what the song wants to say.
Yeah.
Like, I think songs have a vibe, and sometimes, I don't know whether you say, when you listen to music, do you sometimes think, well, that song sounds totally different to what it's saying.
Oh yeah, completely.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that happens like all the time, and that's something that I'm really conscious of when I'm writing lyrics and I'm writing melodies. Like, what does this song want to say? What is its identity? And I think that's something that, as a band, that we pay a lot of attention to.
That's cool. I mean, we were talking earlier about, you know, the sort of support bands, like, you know, sports like you've done earlier this year. You've done like going out with the Fallen State Lads, and then later on this year, November time, you're going up to, going out with the Dead Man's Whiskey Boys. But if you were to take anyone out under the road under your wing as such, is there anyone coming through the ranks that you're really keen on at the minute that you would like to do some shows with?
Yeah, there's a lot, to be honest. Yeah, we spend we're quite good friends with a lot of bands on the scene, because I think the music world's such a small place. Like, everybody knows everybody, and it's that whole I'm forgetting what it is now, but it's like, is it third degree, where you within 3 people you can find whoever you want in the world?
3 degrees separation, is it, or something?
That's the one, yeah. And that's the music. The music world's like one. Like, everybody knows everybody. So we're really good friends with the Wildfire lads from Scotland. They've done a few shows with us. They're from Galashiels. We're really good friends with the Wagons lads.
Yeah.
We'd love to do some shows with them guys at some point. And we're just local to us as well. The guys in Thieves of Liberty.
Of course, yeah. That'd be all the way, I should say.
Yeah, he lives like 100 yards away, Kieran.
Oh, so, Kieran's that close, is he?
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah, so they're a really good bunch of guys as well. So I think that we probably will do some stuff with them. And we're also good friends with a metalcore band in Newcastle called Rituals, who are excellent. They won the Kerrang deal thing this year.
Oh, they won that, did they?
Yeah, and played Download. They're excellent. Check them out.
Oh, I've checked them out. I've not heard them, but yeah, I'm always up for checking out new bands, man. So thanks. I'll check that out. So obviously, you got the album that you're working on. What else are you guys working on over the course of the next year or so? I guess it's the focus is going to be the new record and more live dates and everything else, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, so we came into this year with a plan, and we're actually really proud of the fact that we've achieved everything that we wanted to do this year, which is,
that's cool.
Considering the obstacles that were put in our way, I think it's exceptional. We said we wanted to do the European tour. we brought 2 lads in with 16 days before we went up and did that.
Wow.
And like, yeah, which was insane. And we had 3 headline dates before we went and did that. So they came and did the 3 headline dates. Their first show was after 11 days in the band. And then, yeah, it was just mental, isn't it? Like, how was that even possible? And then we went and did that run. And then we said we wanted to do 2 UK tours, support tours. We didn't want to go out under our own name this year. We wanted to make sure that our next run of headline shows were off the back of a new record.
Makes sense.
And we wanted to get ourselves around the country, play in front of some other people's fans as well. Like we pull really well in most of the UK, but you can oversaturate yourself. You can gig a lot, and especially if you're playing the same set. So we have a new show planned. Our show is quite theatrical. We've got like video screens and timpani drums and all sorts of other random bollocks going on. So we've got a new show intro planned. Obviously a boatload of new material. So hopefully going into next year we'll be set the album date. We're going to do a short run before the album. We've already got tons of festivals in.
Nice.
Short run before the album and then a big one after it. I think that's the plans for 2024.
Sounds like you got another busy year ahead, Stevie, mate.
Hopefully, mate. It would be nice for it to be less hectic and a little bit more planned. But I think that's all under control now, which is nice.
Yeah. So with the album being recorded, you're saying you shoot in January. Have you got a sort of rough date? I guess you're aiming for summer release from that, are you? Or?
That's the plan, yeah. So we want to start releasing singles from back end of February, March onwards, really.
That makes sense.
So we'll do a run of single releases and then drop the album. We're not sure how many singles we'll release yet. I think that depends on how much money we've got left for music videos at the end of it. But we'll do that and then get the album out over the summer. There's quite a lot of kind of, with the songs that we've got anyway, there's some real feel-good stuff. There's also some darker stuff as well. But I think the summer release would really suit this bunch of songs.
Do you think there's a big difference between this and obviously like the EP that you released last and your previous full length?
No, not really. I think it's all in the same wheelhouse.
Yeah.
I think we have our identity really. We kind of went slightly heavier on the last EP. That's there. We're still. This is kind of like, because we were toying with the idea of when we were doing the album, do we just record 6 more tracks?
Yeah.
And then that be like the EP and then 6 more.
All right, yeah, got you.
So that's where we were initially thinking about it. But because we've had changes and stuff like that, it was, let's not do that.
Yeah. Let's
do it as a full, fresh album, so that everyone that's on it is played on it. Who's in the band is played on it. And then they're all obviously proud of it. They all know where it is. Like, it comes from a special place, you know?
Yeah.
And then we can go in and tour that. But this is kind of, some of these songs started out as EP2.
Gotcha.
Like the second half of. So we're really happy to be using Ramesh Doddengoda as the producer on this again.
Ramesh isn't working with you again, is he?
Yeah. So he did the EP, did a great job. And when I spoke to him about sort of the vision that we've got for the album, he was like all over it. This is exactly what I want. And yeah, I think we're gonna create something really, really cool.
That's cool, man. We'll have to get you back on once you start releasing new material, and we can talk about it properly then, buddy.
100%. I would love to do that.
That wicked, man. Well, thanks for your time, Stevie, man. I really appreciate it, dude.
Anytime, mate. Thank you.
No worries, and I'll be coming up to the show you're doing with Dead Man's Whiskey Boys in Norwich, so I'll see you there for that. And we'll,
awesome, mate. We'll have a beer.
Sounds good, pal. And so, as we mentioned it earlier, I'm going to play our favourite underdog at the beginning of the interview. But what song of yours would you like us to play at the end of the interview?
Oh, it's gotta be our set ender, 64 white line.
I thought you might say that. Wicked. All right, bud. Well, thanks for your time, Stevie, mate. And yeah, catch you soon, man.
Cheers, man. Thank you.